So we have these spots. So are we amplifying it through these signatures?
What I would say is, in a way, yes. The way that I think of it is, think of it this way, like in a perfect world, right? If we didn't have all these carrier waves and EMFs and things like that,
Right.
we
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily, it's not that we wouldn't need biogeometry, we would still utilize it, but it would be from more of a positive standpoint. Like, and it is from a positive standpoint, but right now in society, there's more and more things being rolled out, like 5G was kind of the latest thing, and there'll be a 6G and all these kind of things. And Ibrahim talks about how there'll be at one point like a reckoning, essentially, like a point at which there's a no return where the human biofield pretty much collapses. And the analogy I usually use to allow people to understand kind of how these different frequencies that we can't see with our naked eye interfere with us is that imagine that you're in a classroom and you've studied really good for this math test, let's say, right? And this would be the analogy of you're in peak physical condition, you eat the right food, you sleep well, you do all the things, right? But when you get to this classroom, what you didn't know beforehand was that someone was going to be screaming bloody murder in your ear the entire time, right? So no matter how much you study for that test, how well do you think you're going to do on that test? Probably not well. You're going to want to get the hell out of there. And so a lot of us that are in peak physical condition, Chekies, people that are highly optimized, shameless plug, right? Like all of us on the screen, I imagine many of your listeners, the challenge is that even at that level, it's becoming harder and harder to reach optimum condition and optimum health because we have all this interference in our biofield, and our body's kind of getting confused in terms of how to remember how to be a body. Like we have certain frequencies, and biosignatures can do this too, but that kind of correlate to different metabolic processes, different organs in the body. So like if you have a kidney issue, there's a biosignature for that, etc. But if we think about it, when you were born, your body knew how to regrow a kidney or how to grow a kidney, how to grow a liver, etc. And so those frequencies exist within us. But at the same time, when there's so much interference, there's interference. And so what ends up happening is the biofield gets confused and it essentially falls out of peak health is how I describe it.
Got it. And is that biofield the BG3 energy?
I would say that biofield is all of the different vibrational spectrum of the bands, but the BG3 is the centering, it is the unified source, it is the field beyond our physical being that actually is there at all times. And that's actually what our physical being is based on. So it's going way further than just the physical, even emotional, mental. It's going all the way to the actual beginning of the source. Nothing, the zero, the source.
Yeah. Oh, wow.